Greetings and peace. I would like to start this with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be with you and yours. Today's presentation I would like to do based on the book that I have written on the same subject, which is the influence of Islam and Sufism on Rosicrucianism and the Rosicrucian system in general. I hope you enjoy this, and I represent myself only under free speech and entertainment purposes. Now, this presentation explores the deep esoteric parallels between Rosicrucianism, Islam, and Sufism. It is intended for mystic audiences and those interested in the hidden currents of spiritual traditions. In the shifting sands of history, the influence of Islam and the Sufi path, which is mystic Islam, upon Rosicrucianism, is both profound and obscured. Now, while Western esoteric tradition reveres Christian Rosicrucians, his alchemical wedding, and occult philosophy, behind the rose and the cross lies echoes of the East. From Fez to Damascus, Sufi cosmology shaped the very DNA of what would later blossom as Rosicrucianism. Now, this presentation is based on my book, which is available on Amazon in paperback, Kindle, and hardcover format. And of course, here are the Rosicrucian sources listed as well, which shows Christian Rosicrucians' Eastern influence. There is a mystic tie that binds us all, and all authentic mystical traditions share a golden thread, an esoteric current that transcends language and creed. Islam speaks of the Din al-Fitra, the primordial faith. Christianity whispers of the mysteries of the kingdom of God. The Rosicrucian manifestos point to hidden wisdom, guarded for the worthy. Together, they form a universal testament to inner gnosis beyond exoteric forms. Now, in Christianity, this can be Mark 4:11, where Jesus says that there will be those of you that will be taught the inner mysteries, while those on the outside will be taught in parables. In Islam, that is the Zahir and the Batin, right? The exoteric and then the esoteric inner mysteries of Islam, Sufism, Tasawwuf. And with each organization and initiatic path, you will always see this, the inner temple and the outer temple. In Islam, Sharia provides the exoteric law, while Hakika reveals inner truth. Sufism navigates between the Zahir and the Batin, which is the outer and inner realities. Rosicrucianism mirrors this polarity through its invisible college, its secret initiations, and its symbolic alchemy. Both traditions veil truth until the seeker is prepared, preserving the sanctity of gnosis from misuse and from the profane. Now, the Fama Fraternitatis recounts Christian Rosicrucians traveling to Moorish lands. In Fez and Damascus, he absorbed the wisdom of Sufi masters, learned alchemy, astrology, and metaphysical science. His spiritual rebirth mirrored Sufi initiation, which is Tawbah, Zud, Sabr, Tawakkul, Marifa. Rosicrucians returned to Europe cloaked in Christian allegory, but inwardly transformed by Sufi gnosis. The Ikhwan al-Safa, the 10th century Muslim philosophers, crafted encyclopedia epistles blending philosophy, mysticism, and cosmology. Their doctrines of spiritual ascent, symbolic storytelling, and numerological harmony deeply influenced later Rosicrucians. Both orders stressed secrecy, ethical living, and the universal religion of inner truth. The Rosicrucians may be seen as heirs to their hidden fraternity. The Fatimid dynasty founded Cairo's Dar al-Hikmah, a house of wisdom where astronomy, medicine, alchemy, and esotericism flourished. Initiates progressed through veiled ranks, echoing later Rosicrucian lodges. Their Ismaili cosmology of hidden imams parallels the Rosicrucian idea of unknown superiors. The Fatimid vision of enlightened rule and tolerance planted seeds that blossomed in European mystical orders. Not only the Fatimid, but also the Muslim presence in Spain, which brought Europe out of darkness into the Renaissance. True alchemy is not about metals, but souls. Sufis describe the nafs, or the lower self, in alchemical terms: the base lead of ego, quicksilver of passion, gold of perfected spirit. Rosicrucian alchemy likewise symbolizes inner transformation. The chemical wedding echoes the Sufi urs, the mystical marriage of soul with the beloved, the creator divine, Allah. Both traditions affirm that the true philosopher's stone is the awakened heart. Of course, Mansur al-Hallaj, who declared, Ana al-Haq, I am the truth, and was executed for unveiling divine unity. His martyrdom symbolizes fana, which is annihilation of the ego, leaving only God. Rosicrucian allegories of symbolic death and resurrection mirrors Hallaj's fate. His fire spread in secret to Europe, shaping mystics who would cloak his cry in allegory: the self must die for the truth to live. And it's not only Rosicrucianism. Hallaj is even echoed in Crowley's systems of OTO, for those that know. Ibn Arabi's Wahdat al-Wujud, the unity of being, declares all existence as divine self-disclosure, meaning nothing truly exists but God, the only living being. The cross, reinterpreted, becomes a cosmic geometry, vertical axis of descent, horizontal of multiplicity, intersecting in the heart. The Rosicrucian Rose Cross echoes this vision: the ego crucified, the heart blooming in divine union. Both traditions proclaim the perfected human as mirror of God. Numbers, forms, and proportions are divine languages. Sufis taught cosmology through sacred geometry, and the Ikhwan al-Safa embedded knowledge in numerology. Rosicrucians used planetary correspondences and ciphers to veil truths. Both traditions insist that geometry is more than science. It is revelation, a reflection of the order of the cosmos upon the inner soul. The Rosicrucian allegory of the chemical wedding, with its trials, deaths, and unions, mirrors the Sufi concept of the urs, the sacred marriage of the soul with the beloved. Death becomes union, suffering becomes transfiguration. The initiate emerges reborn, radiant with gnosis. Both traditions encode this mystery in allegory, for only the prepared can enter the wedding chamber of the soul. The Quran speaks, Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth, light upon light, nur ala nur. The Sufis read this as the gradation of divine realities, right? That this is the true reality that we're dealing with. Rosicrucianism speaks of illumination by the Rose Cross. Both describe the same mystery: light as symbol of gnosis, illumination as unveiling, the human heart as a lamp. True initiation is awakening into layered radiance of divine light. During the Crusades, the Knights Templar encountered Islamic mystics, the Ismaili Hashashin, and Sufis. They absorbed these esoteric cosmologies, numerology, and initiation rites. These currents flowed into Europe, resurfacing in Rosicrucianism and Freemasonry. What appeared as a Western invention was often Eastern transmission, veiled and adapted. The Rose Cross cannot be understood without the crescent. Rumi's poetry reveals the alchemy of love. I was raw, I became cooked, I was burnt. The Chishti order celebrated the Urs, the wedding with God. Compassion, music, and divine intoxication formed their way. Rosicrucians, too, extolled love as the fire that refines the soul. The mystical heart beats in both East and West, whispering the same secret, that love and the heart is the furnace of transformation. Sufi poets and teachers like Fariduddin Attar spoke of the Simurgh and the bird's journey as allegories of spiritual realization. The Rosicrucians employed cryptic languages, ciphers, and allegorical beasts. Both traditions used veiled language as initiation. Words conceal and reveal simultaneously. For the mystic, language itself becomes a cipher, a song, a code, pointing beyond itself to gnosis. Islamic philosophers preserved and expanded Hermetic writings, including the Emerald Tablet, whose maxim, as above so below, became central to Western alchemy. Rosicrucianism inherited this Hermetic/Islamic synthesis. What Europe called Hermetic revival was in truth transmission of wisdom filtered through Sufi, Ismaili, and Andalusian hands, veiled in allegory for safe passage into Christendom. Ibn Arabi's cosmology envisioned a tree of being, from divine root to human fruit. The Rosicrucians diagrammed similar trees, depicting ascent of soul and descent of spirit. Both maps reveal the same gnosis. The cosmos is a living organism, man a microcosm. To know oneself is to know the universe. To ascend its branches is to return to the one. Sufism speaks of hidden saints, the awliya, right? Or the Rijal al-Ghaib, who I've also done a lecture and a book on separately, who sustain the world invisibly. Now, Rosicrucianism speaks of the invisible college, sages guiding humanity unseen, just like the Rijal al-Ghaib. Both affirm that divine wisdom flows through hidden custodians who labor in silence. Their anonymity is their strength, their secrecy, their protection. Truth does not announce itself, it whispers through veiled custodians of light. Sufi cosmology teaches of the seal of saints, a figure who closes the cycle of sanctity. Rosicrucian writings envision an eschatological renewal, a universal reformation led by the adepts. Both traditions expect a hidden consummation, not through apocalyptic destruction, but through inner transformation. The end of the cycle is the unveiling of unity long veiled by division. My friends, brothers, thank you so much for enjoying this. These are the references that I recommend to you, even the Rosicrucian manifestos, which you can look up yourself, which shows Christian Rosicruci's Eastern background. And again, this presentation is just a small preview and a nugget of my more expanded book of the same subject, which is available on Amazon and Amazon, Kindle, paperback, hardcover format. You can check that out. The link is here and in the description below. Thank you so much. And of course, all my videos are for nonprofit and education purposes. And if you have any questions or comments, please email me at salmansheikh911@gmail.com. Thank you.